Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Charlie, who's a freshman in high school, he's just starting off his freshman year, and this film chronicles his entire freshman year. First, is very lonely and alone until he makes friends with these two seniors, played by Ezra Miller and Emma Watson, named Sam and Patrick. Kind of chronicles their relationship throughout his amazing, fun, dramatic, and very emotional freshman year. It's a little cheesy, it's a little corny. They say motivational speaker lines that, if you say when you're adult, you'd laugh off. But when you're in high school, it really means something. It's very high school. And I think if I was in high school or if I was a freshman in college, I would love this movie. It's like the kind of film that somebody passionately in high school be like, have you seen this film? This film is like my life. And as much as I recognize its corniness and its cheesiness, I kind of like that it did that. And I also think you couldn't really do it any other way. You couldn't do Perks of Being a Wallflower without being a little cheesy and a little corny. You kind of have to go with it and remember what it was like to be high school and those heightened emotions over all this silly popularity thing and how dramatic relationships could be. It is kind of like an idealized view of high school. It's not exactly what you remember of high school, or at least not what I remember of high school. High school wasn't that interesting, but maybe I went to the wrong high school. Maybe other high schools were just like Perks of Being a Wallflower, and I just went to, lame, uninteresting high school. One of the smartest things about, I think, this movie is the casting, and in certain ways it's overcast. I don't think Dylan McDermott really needed to play his dad. I don't think Kate Walsh needed to play his mom. Sometimes it was overkill. But some of the people were really good at their small little roles and excelled at it. I think Paul Rudd was really great. I like Paul Rudd as his English teacher. I thought that worked because you want, his English teacher needs to be memorable. It's obviously very memorable to him. It's very important to him. And with the casting, shows how, when you're in high school, you think these people are going to totally change your life and have this big impact. And maybe, when he goes off to college, he'll never talk to Paul Rudd again. He might never see Sam and Patrick by the time he's a senior in high school. But when you're a freshman, it's like, oh my God, these are my friends. These are so important to me. That is so ingrained in this. This guy, Logan Lerman, as the main kid, Charlie, and he really evaporates into the background. He looked like he was crying a lot. He's a little too sappy. But because of that, it makes everybody else, I think, that much more alive. And you have so many great actors in this movie, and certainly more experienced actors than him, that I think it actually works for the movie. When you have actors like Mae Whitman and Emma Watson and Ezra Miller playing his cool friends, and they're such experienced, good actors, especially young actors, and so well trained, that I think as an audience you really want to follow them. And as an audience member, I certainly wanted to be friends with them. Throughout high school, I'd not just hang out with senior kids, I'd hang out with kids who were in college, and it seemed so cool. You're I remember going to a college cafeteria when I was a junior and going to the all-you-can-eat thing, and that was the greatest thrill of my week. I thought it was so cool and important, and you really got that with their whole tunnel sequence, and they go to parties, and how it's it meant so much to them to be with these older kids. And you got that because you wanted to see them more on screen more. Ezra Miller, this was kind of almost a star turn, I think, for him. This is the kind of performance you see from him and you go, wow, he could really do any sort of movie. He could be in a big blockbuster, he could be in an art film. I don't know exactly what role he'd play in either, but you really feel like he's an actor that's really capable of doing anything, and he just really shined as Patrick. He was really the breakout star of the movie. I believe it takes place in the 80s. I'm not sure, the early 90s or something. They couldn't figure out through the whole movie what this song was, and it's David Bowie's Heroes. And it kind of reminded me of the time where you'd hear a song, you'd be like, oh, well, the next time I hear that, I'll find out what that was. And it was cool remembering what it was like to be a kid kind of pre-internet, a fun look back, but it wasn't so nostalgic it choked on itself. That was kind of almost an afterthought. It was adapted and directed by the author of the book, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Stephen Chbosky. Sometimes that did not exactly work out. When Charlie first meets Sam and Patrick, that scene, the coverage was really bad. It didn't cut very well. It just seemed a lot of times he was definitely a first-time director. It wasn't shot really well at all. The coverage wasn't great. It seemed like he had a lot to learn. It's idealized high school, but it's the kind of idealized high school that high school kids fucking love. And in a way, that's why I like this movie, is because it definitely captures that, and captures that really well. and in kind of a very pure way. If you can really love these characters and kind of remember that time when, you know, you'd sneak out of your parents' house at 11 p.m. or something, or go to a crazy New Year's Eve party, or the first time you went to Rocky Horror, then I think this movie is definitely for you. So if you have seen The Perks of Being a Wallflower and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments, and subscribe if you would like to. I actually like the soundtrack. It reminded me of listening to all this alternative music on the radio, and probably one of the first times in a while I've heard the Smiths in a movie and it didn't seem really annoying, like 500 Days of Summer. It like actually made me want to go and listen to the Smiths again, listen to a lot of this music. I noticed Tom Savini has a small role in this as the shop teacher. From Dawn of the Dead to Perks of Being a Wallflower, I never thought I'd see Tom Savini in something like this, but I like seeing Tom Savini.